Hi Libra, happy birthday and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your October 2021 love reading. Thank to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridge and the gap spread. And the way it works is we'll look at the past energies, present energies, and future energies between you and your main love interest. Once we get through all that, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot. On the right side, we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. And also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like it's the other way around in your situation, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get this started. Past energy on your side, we have oppression. So this is the equivalent of the Tower in traditional tarot. And, if we look at the artwork here, it's a stormy background. Obviously, her facial expression, she looks pretty distraught as well. So, could be going a couple different ways. On the one hand, it could just be saying that you might have had a lot going on emotionally. Now, where it could go two different ways, I feel it could just be saying that for some of you, it might have been directly related to this person. For others of you, it might have been something else that you had going on in your lives altogether. But either way, I feel like the main issue here was that you weren't necessarily communicating all of these things that you had going on beneath the surface, right? So all those stormy emotions, I don't necessarily feel like there was direct communication around it. You might have actually left the situation altogether. If we just think of the tower as representing the connection between the two of you, obviously it looks like she's outside of that tower. So yeah. And we see her back turned on all that too. So it could just be saying that even for yourselves, you didn't necessarily want to look at the situation at a deeper level, but that's what I'm seeing there. All right, and past energy on their side. We have the Nine of Chalices, Pisces energy, and the Hermit, Virgo energy. So this could just be as simple as a timeline, saying that during Virgo season, possibly even during the Pisces full moon, this could have been when they might have reached out to you. But with the Nine of Chalices, it looks like they definitely saw a lot of potential within the connection between the two of you. This is a very positive energy, and traditional tarot, it often is pointed to as a wish fulfillment type of energy. And then with the Hermit here, we see that much more introspective, withdrawn type of energy. So this is interesting here too, because I could see this going a couple different ways. For some of you, it could just be saying that emotionally they might have really wanted to communicate to you just how deep their feelings were, but then they may have actually refrained from doing so with that Hermit energy, right, which is a lot more reclusive. For some of you, they might have actually thought that you were in another connection, if we see the two people in the background there, so they might have just held back on expressing their feelings. This can be connected to your reading, because I think for last month your reading involved someone who would assume the worst. So for example, if you were withdrawing from the connection, they might have assumed that that meant that you had someone else in the picture. But yeah, either way, it looks like there was definitely a bit of a barrier around communication between the two of you in the past. All right, in the present position on your side, we have the Princess of Cups, which is the equivalent to the Page of Cups, and the Ten of Arrows, which is Gemini energy. So it's interesting to see these energies come up here, because if we see this, again, we have the water symbolism in the background, and here we see the stormy environment like we saw in that card as well. So for some of you, I feel like this is saying that is lifting for you. The more stormy emotions, I feel, are actually lifting. With that, it always stands out to me that we have the 9 arrows by themselves, which makes you think of that energy of anxiety, losing sleep, right? And then the 1 arrow by itself, which makes me think of the Ace of Arrows, which is when you usually have the epiphany type energy. So for some of you, could just be saying that you might have actually gotten an epiphany around whatever this situation was in the past. That's actually helping you clear out the stormy emotions there. But even though we do see a much more calm environment here, it still stands out to me that her back is turned to the cards on the side. So it could just be saying that you might have some feelings, but I don't necessarily feel like you're ready to express them to this person just yet. All right. Present energy on their side, we had a few cards come up. We have the 2 of Chalices, which is Cancer energy, 6 of Pentacles, Taurus energy, and the Knave of Chalices, which is actually also the same energy that you have here, which is the Page of Cups. So this card came out sideways, so I actually left it there because I feel like it must have come out that way for a reason. But let's talk through it. So with the Two of Cups in the upright, similar energy to the Nine of Cups, but I view this as more of maybe they're trying to restart with you, right? And then with the Six of Pentacles representing the energy of putting in balance, trying to bring some stability around the situation. But with that Knave of Chalices, it brings me back to what I was feeling for some of you in the past energy with this person, which is to say, since this came out sideways, could just be saying that they might still struggle with finding the words as far as communicating what they're feeling. So, ironically, you guys might both be similar in that regard. Now, even in the upright, as you could see, the artwork speaks for itself in that regard, where we do see, get it to focus. There we go. He's crumpling up a ball of paper there. There's a couple already in the background, and obviously it looks like he was trying to write something, right? Looks like there's some frustration there. So I'd just be saying that even in the upright, this would say I would view this as someone who struggles with communicating their feelings. Like I said, much like we see with the artwork there too. But with it coming out sideways, could just be saying for some of you, they might be getting closer to actually coming out of that energy and maybe communicating that they do want to restore balance there. But, could go 50-50 since it did come out sideways. And future energy on your side, we have Innocence, which is the equivalent to the Fool in traditional tarot, and the Eight of Cups, which is Pisces energy. So, Fool energy definitely represents that youthful, playful energy, also taking a leap of faith, a new start in something. And interestingly enough, I see the fire with the water here on the Tower card. It looks like we see fire and water with this card as well. So it could just be saying that you're having a renewal there. So maybe everything you were feeling before, as far as passion, emotions, I feel like they're still there, but manifesting in a much more positive way now. Because like I said, it looks like whatever you might have had going on, you might have worked that out. And with the Eight of Cups, in this deck in particular, the Eight of Cups is always interesting to me because if we just look at the artwork, it's hard to tell if she's actually already... All right, let me just talk about traditional tarot for a second. Eight of Cups in traditional tarot usually represents walking away from something and, seeking something more fulfilling. What always stands out to me with the artwork here is it's hard to tell if she's coming back, meaning she's already gone through that Eight of Cups journey and now she's coming back toward this person, or if this is her moving away. So that always stands out to me as a bit interesting too, which is to say that could go either way. For some of you, this might have represented the journey you were already on, right? You might have walked away. You had a lot of other things going on. Like I said, for some of you, this could have been emotions toward this person, but for others of you, I feel like this was just something completely separate from the connection, but you just weren't necessarily comfortable opening up about what that was. So for some of you, could represent just coming back in that regard, where, okay, you've cleared out whatever energy you were dealing with. It seemed like it was pretty heavy, quite frankly, but it does look like we do see that improvement. And now maybe you're ready for that fresh start with them. And for others of you, could just be saying that you're deciding to have a fresh start elsewhere. All right, and future energy on their side, we have the Queen of Chalices. So this is Cancer energy here. So on the one hand, we do see the growth of the emotions, right? We had the Nine of Chalices, the Two, the Knave, which is the Page of Cups, and now we see the Queen. So it could just be saying growing emotionally, more maturity as well around emotions. The only thing that still sticks out in my mind is the fact that with traditional tarot, the Queen of Cups is the only cup that's covered. So I'll just be saying they might still be a little bit guarded, but I feel like at the very least, this is saying the feelings are growing from this person and a desire at least to nurture, be more nurturing and emotionally open is increasing with this person. All right. Bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Seven of Cups. So this is actually Scorpio energy, but it's quite fitting to see this card pop up for you guys, given that we're just about to have that Mercury retrograde start at the time I'm recording this, and it's going to be in your sign. So obviously that could point to some confusion around your thoughts, just being overwhelmed with thoughts, quite frankly. But it always stands out to me with the artwork here. We see It looks like this figure is next to her. It doesn't look like he's physically present in the room, though, right? So could just be saying that maybe you have a lot of other options, but this person still comes to your mind. Or I could see it the other way, which is to say they might physically be there, but you just have so many other things going on in your mind that you haven't really been able to pay them much attention. Either way, given the spread and the cards we already talked through, it does look like you'll be coming out of this energy, which is a good thing. But yeah, I could see where this would play into the spread for sure. All right, and bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Three of Wands. So this is actually Aries energy here, and generally speaking, this usually points to waiting for your shifts to come in. So usually this represents the energy of someone who's put a certain amount of work towards something, and now they're actually taking that rest and waiting for the rewards to come back in toward them. So for some of you, that could have been what was going on there too. You know, if they were putting an effort toward you in the past, for example, and you might have walked away, they might feel like, okay, well, is the Libra going to come back, right? So they might have been in a more passive role. Like I said, especially with the way that card came out sideways in Knave of Chalices, for some of you, it looks like they might be coming out of that to where they're more open to communicating, but I don't necessarily feel like all of them would. And it always stands out to me too with the artwork here. It looks like a very fall type energy. So for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, it definitely coincides with this timing. And there is going to be a full moon in Aries this month too. So there could definitely be some significance around that time for you. All right, so moving on to your Oracle cards. First, we'll see if we get anything from the Aqua Moonlight deck here. First, I'll be looking for unspoken messages from you to them and then from them to you. Usually I would normally just go with jumpers, but this time I might just pull cards anyway if no jumpers come up, but we'll see how we feel as we go through. Okay, oh, got a few that came up there. All right, and next we'll see if we get any from them to you. All right, and a few there too. All right, so lots of messages going on, quite fitting for Mercury retrograde. So I'd almost be surprised if they all resonate for all of you, but hopefully that means that at least somebody gets something out of this. All right, we have in the very near future. So that could point to what I was seeing there with that Aries full moon energy. And like I said, it does look like you're coming out of that stuck energy within a few months. Okay, so that'd be a bit of a contrast. In the very near future, I wouldn't necessarily, well, to be fair, it does still say within a few months, right? So that could be anywhere within like a 3-month time frame, let's say. Yes, okay, yeah, not a lot of helpful energy here. Now, interesting. All right, here we have something with actual words, right? We have factors. Okay, it says we're so different. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work. Interesting. So, I mean, maybe that is what it is for you. Interesting too, because I was saying how with the each of their positions they have the cup energy. So for some of you, this could be a water sign you're dealing with, for example. So maybe they're more emotionally expressive. And you guys, even though you are Libra ruled and you're supposed to be relationship focused, right? You are still an air sign at the end of the day. So maybe you're not as comfortable with the emotional expression, right? So we see the stormy waters there. Like I said, even here, that's a Page of Cups energy, right? So it could just be one of those things where emotionally you might not be at the level where they are. So that could be a bit of a struggle for you. And you might be trying to figure out, okay, how do I make this work, right? So in that regard, that makes sense. But yeah, these other ones didn't necessarily bring much groundbreaking information your way, but hopefully you got something from that anyway. All right. And next, we'll see what we got on this side. Okay. So we have clingy. Says feeling trapped pushes me away. Please give me some space. Well, that's interesting there because in a way that almost would have seemed like it made more sense on your side given what we were just talking about. Well, I mean, maybe that's what the hermit energy is saying, though, right? So even if they might come forward with some emotional energy, they still might need a lot of alone time with that hermit energy. Let me see if anything else will point to. And then, like we said, with the Knave of Chalices, look like there could be a little struggle. But yeah, to me, I would have said this would have made more sense if it came out on your side, though, for sure. All right. We have personal. This says, this isn't about you. I'm working through a personal issue. Interesting, because again, to me, this almost lines up more with what I was saying for those of you with that tower energy. Could have been something totally separate from the connection. So it's like a mixed thing here. But hopefully we're getting some from it anyway. All right, we have memory. I miss you. I mean, it definitely looks like the emotions are pretty deep on that side, so that doesn't surprise me. And we have respect. It says, you deserve the best, and I respect you. I want to do the right thing. So yeah, I mean, all along the way here, it does look like they definitely do have those genuine emotions for you. Like I said, if anything, given the way that this Knave of Chalices card came out, and then also even with the Hermit energy right beneath the Nine of Chalices, it could be one of those things where, quite frankly, even though they might feel more emotionally, they might still have a little bit of struggle communicating that. So I do feel like they do have genuine feelings for sure, though. So hopefully all that resonated with you. And lastly, we'll pull a card from Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and we'll wrap up. I pre-shuffled this deck as well, but here we're just looking for one card to end the reading. Okay, there we go. All right, you guys got Yang. There's the artwork, and the number is 1. Okay, so it says the masculine principle of movement and creative activity, the power to make things happen, taking action. The Oracle's message. Yang represents the power of action, the energies that propel the world forward and manifesting thought and desire into concrete form. Now is the perfect time to act, for you can easily build momentum and make headway. What you want will come to fruition if you proceed confidently. This card signifies new life and is a sure sign that obstacles have been overcome. There is no reason to hesitate. You are the shaper of your destiny now. So interesting reading that, where it says new life and is a sure sign that obstacles have been overcome. The obstacles being overcome makes me think of the tower energy we saw in the past. Like I said, with that Ten of Swords, with the Page of Cups energy, like I said, it looks like you were coming out of that there as well. And then with the Fool, that would represent the new life side of that energy, right? So hopefully that resonated with you. The relationship message says circumstances are supporting action on your part. It's okay to make the first move. Trust that you will quickly know where you stand. In matters of the heart, there is movement toward your highest good, so go forth with assurance. Passion is in the air, and now is the time to dance to the tune of love. Take the lead. So it's interesting because as I was reading that message as well, it made me think back to, for some of you, this could have been as simple as you had Mars moving through your 12th house recently. And of course, that could bring a lot to the subconscious. Now it's in your sign too, which would support that yang energy of taking action. And the good thing is too, I will say, right at the start of the second week of October, you guys are going to have Venus in your third house communication. So even though there is still the retrograde, keep that in mind. But Venus in your third house communication, especially that since that's your chart ruler too, could help you guys out with clearing up some communication if you're so inclined. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there. Once again, happy birthday, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.